Okay, what comes to mind when you see these three circles? What about these two golden arches? How about a bitten apple? Great design can evoke a strong emotional reaction within us. In this show, we're going to dissect the most recognizable logos from your favorite brands, explore how they got to where they are now, and break down the elements that make them so memorable. This is why Nickelodeon is iconic. Even though the current Nickelodeon logo has been going strong for a decade, I bet it's not the one you immediately think of when someone brings up the popular kids channel. If the orange splat comes to mind, then you most likely grew up in the 90s and associate that image with your childhood. So what led to Nickelodeon changing this memorable look? Let's travel back to the beginning and figure it out. Nickelodeon officially launched in 1979. It got its name from Nickelodeons, which were what the first indoor movie theaters were called. Nickel from the 5 cents it cost to enter, and Odeon from the Greek word for roofed theaters. The first logo was designed by Joseph Iozzo Inc., featuring a mime looking into a kinetoscope inside of the N. This mime was used in all of the network interstitials. Oh god. Am I the only one who thinks that's super creepy? Thankfully, in 1981, Lou Dorfsman redesigned the logo using the bubbly Frankfurter font in rainbow colors and adding a 3D silver pinball behind it. The network's radical bumpers were pinball-themed and used a lot of motion graphics. Design was moving into previously unknown territory thanks to all of the new developments in computer technology. Unfortunately, the fancy new graphics weren't enough to keep that pinball out of the gutter. By 1984, Nickelodeon was operating at a significant loss and finishing dead last among all US cable channels. Yikes. They desperately needed to revamp their image and rise victorious. So they brought in Fred Allen Inc., Fred Sieber and Alan Stone's firm, to rebrand. They were the ones who came up with the idea for the ever-changing MTV logos in the 80s. They looked at the old branding for Nickelodeon and immediately understood what wasn't working. So they figured, hey dude, why not do the same thing we did for MTV for Nick? Thus, the interchanging orange logos were born. This is referred to as a fluid identity, and Fred Allen practically invented it. This strategy works well for TV because you always get something new while getting the same thing. Nickelodeon's name in white on an orange background. Same branding, different product. And orange was the perfect choice for a children's network because it combines the energy of red and the happiness of yellow. And I'd say energetic and happy accurately sums up Nick and its viewers. This branding rehaul gave Nickelodeon the right amount of rocket power to shoot back to the top. The endless orange iterations reflected the endless possibilities of kids' imaginations. And the programming at the time was as bold and creative as its branding suggested. Many refer to this era as the golden age of Nick. It was also during this era that Nickelodeon expanded their brand even further. They created a sister channel, Noggin, now known as Nick Jr., whose logo was designed by Big Blue Dot. It shared the same fluid branding as Nick, with a playful, interchangeable head. The splat symbol is so synonymous with the 90s that it became the name of the all-90s programming block on Teen Nick. So whether or not we're simply looking back on this decade through orange-tinted glasses, you can't deny that there was something truly magical about this period. Then something happened. According to Craig Bartlett, creator of Hey Arnold, every year they got bigger and more corporate than the year before, and less like you have a personal touch. They needed a safe show that the whole family could watch together. So when SpongeBob SquarePants proved to be a hit in 1999, the network held on tight and has been squeezing that sponge for everything it's got over the past 2 decades. In 2009, network executives decided to streamline the Nickelodeon brand. They noticed that when all of the subsets of Nickelodeon were placed on a business card, it looked like a hot, slimy mess. According to Seema Sargami, president of Nickelodeon at the time, in asking ourselves if everything could live under the splat, we decided that the splat was dated. Other networks at the time were updating their looks with cleaner, minimalistic logos, so Nickelodeon followed suit and wiped up the splat and replaced it with this wordmark designed by Eric Zim. When the new logo was revealed, it received a bit of backlash on the internet. Some thought it was too stagnant and lacked character, and didn't reflect the fun nature of the channel. According to Russell Hicks, their motto is kids first. The Nick you grew up with is not the same Nick that your kids are growing up with. Kids today have so many different platforms to consume content, from big screen TVs, to laptops, to tablets, to smartphones. That's a lot of places for a logo to look good. So when you look at the history of Nickelodeon, it's clear to see what led them to make the design choices they made. When a brand that we grew up with changes and grows, it reminds us that we're also growing up. And change can be scary, but it's also exciting. What do you think of the latest Nickelodeon logo? Do you think it represents a shift from creative to corporate? Or are we just afraid of change because it reminds us that we're inching closer to death? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like Gamma Ray on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube.